News. We start this hour with this joint statement from Britain and France on tackling the number of migrants trying to reach the United Kingdom via the Channel Tunnel. The country's interior ministers, Theresa May and Bernard Cazeneuve, said they were beefing up security at the French port of Calais and that the issue is a top priority for both countries. Meanwhile, the acting leader of Britain's opposition Labour Party, Harriet Harman, says the French government should be paying compensation to people in the UK who've been affected by the crisis. On the line is Christophe Premat, a French MP for Northern Europe, representing French citizens in Scandinavian countries, in Ireland and the UK. Christophe Premat, welcome to the programme.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Good morning. What's your reaction, first of all, to this joint statement from Britain and France's respective interior ministers?
Well, I think it was a very interesting declaration, as it points out that the security is, of course, the priority number one. But then, when the question of security is partially solved, you need to have a further agreement in order to have a long-term perspective of how we can tackle the problem in Calais with the migrants. So I think it's a good point.
Let me talk then about the initial element to this, namely the beefing up of security. Is that, in your mind, going to be effective?
Well, it's going to be effective as soon as we have an agreement with not only the both governments, but as well the companies which are involved in Calais. I think it's very important with the security of Eurotunnel that we need to know, we need to have the security around the checkpoint. So it's very important to have them. But at the same time, of course, if we want to provide security, then we have to. We cannot just be limited to the question of security. We have to tackle the problem of the migrants. Why do they come here? Because it's not a new problem. It has been a lot of migrants coming here in Calais. So we have to see how we can solve the problem of the migrants coming to this border.
I want to ask you about that in a moment, but just one more on the security as it stands now. Is it realistic to anticipate that greater levels of security will be effective against a group of people who have risked life and limb to get where they are now? A slightly bigger fence and more sniffer dogs is frankly not going to stop them, is it?
Your question is very interesting because, as you say, they did from June. They began to do some mass actions in order to threaten the truck drivers in order to get on the other side. So you're right. If we think that we would just solve the security by security forces or things like that, I think we are wrong. So we need to, in order to secure the site, we need to go at the source. Why do we have so many migrants coming here in Calais? And of course, we have some refugees, we have some illegal migrants, and the government struggling against the illegal gangs. I think we have been dismantling 17 gangs from the beginning of the year, which is 4 times more than the last year. So you have a solution, but we have to have different answers in order to make sure that the security will be effective.
In which case, let me go there as a final point before I bring my guests in to react to what you've said. You talk about other answers, longer-term solutions. What potentially could they be?
You have 2 answers. You have this is a European question, so it's very important to be pointed out. Of course, we have a border here, but you have different problems around. So the migrants, the problem of the migrants has been the priority during the last 6 months. We have different points in Europe: Hungary, Greece, Italy. So we have to know how we can track those illegal migrants in order to secure those who want to come in a regular way. And then we have to harmonize also the different legislations in order to welcome refugees and distinguish the migrants between the refugees and the other ones. Then we have to find a cross-borders agreement. We already had in 2K in 2003 an agreement between France and UK, but I think we can go further and try to have a kind of agreement that we have with Belgium, for instance, in the border with Belgian officers working in France, French officers working in Belgium. So we need to have this kind of cooperation if we want to solve the problem.
Christophe Premat, thank you very much indeed.